Now this morning I had the huge excitement of getting a beautiful box of fish through from our amazing restaurant fish suppliers, Flying Fish in Cornwall. Now they are my favourite fish suppliers, they're amazing at what they do and they're now operating an at-home service. So if you'd like the best fish I think anywhere to be found, Flying Fish at home, you can't go wrong, and you speak to them, order what you want, they do boxes, it's fab. Now because I'm not doing venison at the moment, not doing venison boxes, kind of think it's time to eat some fish. It's 8 months a year. As a family, we're pretty much 50% deer. So what have I got? Well, I'm going to make something really beautiful and decadent, which is lobster linguine or lobster spaghetti. Now, I have killed these lobsters. They came fresh, and I've just done it a minute ago, and I've just put my big knife in the T of the lobster's head, stab it in there, and it kills the lobster almost instantly, and it's a very humane way to do it. But you can see this has a very beautiful blue, cerulean sort of blue tail and carapace. Now it's dead, so I'm not going to hurt it, but I'm going to remove the tail, like so, and the claws, like so, of all the lobsters. Take off, there we are, lovely. Now, I'm going to just remove the small claws, and I'm adding them raw into here. Okay. Together with some partially cooked shells. This is all going to get fried off in oil and garlic and saffron to make the base for our amazing, amazing spaghetti sauce. So I'm just going to get the main shell here, and the shells have got so much flavour, they're just ridiculous. So I'm going to take my lovely big knife, cut the shell up, and I'm going to take my teaspoon. I'm just going to remove the gills and any nastiness. So you don't actually have to do this, you can throw them in, but I'm a bit finicky. In they go. Remove the stuff, get rid of it, and I'll just take the rubber bands off their claws, put there for safety reasons. Okay. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, now these are going in our water. So I've got some boiling water with some salt in it, and I'm going to drop these in for like 3 minutes, okay? So I'm just running those under cold water to stop the cooking process. I've cooked these for 3 to 4 minutes, and it's just enough time to set the lobster meat without cooking it fully, because later on I'm going to cut it up really nicely and add it to the lobster spaghetti or linguine. Haven't decided which yet. So to start with, I want to get it out of its shell. So to do that, I'm going to take a pair of scissors and I'm going to snip down the underside of the carapace, like so. There are various ways of doing it. Open it up. Careful does it. I'm just going to ease this out nice and gently, get it all out in one piece. There we go, beautiful. Do that for a big, fat, stunning lobster tail. The shells we do not waste. Again, the flavour's magnificent. I'm going to start getting all this gorgeous meat out. So here we have the beautiful, there's my little spoon here. I'm just going to get the meat out of the claws. I find the back of a teaspoon is really good for this. So now, lobsters are one of those things that if they sit in a tank for a while, they start to starve, and then they basically eat themselves. They eat their own meat, and then you'll find that your lobster's this gorgeous big fat looking creature, and then when you break it open, it's a tiny little meat inside. Not the case with these. These have all been caught in the last few days, and I can tell that because they're glorious. So I'm going to ease out the claw meat. I don't need it all to be in one piece, but step back. Good way to do it. Take a knife, in, twist, out comes the claw. Look at that fat, beautiful claw. After 10 or 15 minutes, that's my very last beautiful lobster claw. Look at that for a pile of meat. Stunning. So, I've now managed to prepare all my lobsters, which I'm very excited about. Obviously, these are an expensive product, so if you're going to do them, make the most of them. Here are the shells. I've got olive oil in my pan. I'm going to throw some cloves of garlic in, and I'm going to start throwing shells we need to roast these shells, and roasting the shells in oil, the purpose of that is to extract all the flavour from the shells, and you get this amazing shellfishy oil that's left over. So now to make the sauce proper, and this is like alchemy, this is proper cooking, you know what I mean? And this has been done for hundreds and hundreds of years. I've got to make here, if you come down and have a look at my vegetables, there's some beautiful organic veg here, got some slightly wonky carrots, and because this is going to be strained out, I'm not worried about them being too refined or perfect. So let's just nip off the ends of the carrots, quarter them. Hold the knife correctly, and that means like this. See how I'm holding the knife? So the combination of vegetables, of aromatic vegetables I'm using, is called a Mirepoix, M-I-R-E-P-O-I-X. And a Mirepoix was otherwise known as the Holy Trinity. And it comprises of celery, carrot and onion. But in this case, I want this to be a super sweet broth, so I want to use shallot instead. It's a bit sweeter. You see how the knife blade's running down my middle knuckle? Which means unless I raise it up to there, I can't cut myself, in theory. It's failed a few times. Whoopee! Now that's what I want it to smell like. Okay, some more olive oil. Let's be quick about this. The shells have really roasted like a treat. They're beautiful. Come on over here. Go in there and listen to that. It smells like bouillabaisse already. In goes the aromatics. Normally I'd use white wine in this dish. I haven't got any, so I'm going to use rosé. Probably 1/4 of a bottle, I'd say. And now, some stunning Italian pulp tomatoes. I'm going to add a lot of these. So, I've added 4 cans of tomatoes, 4 cans of water, equal quantities is the best way to put it, 1/4 bottle of white wine, gallons of olive oil, celery, carrot, onion, garlic, and of course all the shells from those lobsters which have been roasted for 10 minutes. I'm going to add a mild red chilli. It's not a hot chilli, this. I'm just going to get rid of the worst of the seeds. And I'm going to deliberately kind of leave this in one piece so I can fish it out. There we are. And here, saffron. Now this is essential, I think. Some people put like turmeric in, some people put saffron powder. You can't beat saffron. And I'm going to pop this in now to work its way through, and it's that key flavour of Italy and France is saffron. In goes chili, in goes that saffron. Now the saffron will not only give it a magnificent colour, which it already has, but the flavour of saffron, which is of course the stamen of the crocus plant, some say it's as valuable as gold, weight for weight. It's because each individual stamen has to be hand picked out of the flower. They don't have machines to do it. But it adds this unbelievable flavour and smell to a shellfish soup. Wow. Sometimes you have to get the camera lady to help, so darling, would you mind holding that handle for me? Oh, you ripper. Thank you very much. And it is a bit of a chore, this. And what we've got here is basically lobster soup. Now, if I just reduced this, seasoned it heavily, and got all the flavours just right, I'd have an incredible lobster soup. But what I'm going to do, because I want lobster sauce for spaghetti, is I'm going to reduce this down even further on the hob. So I'm going to put it on the hob, and I'm going to reduce it down by half so it gets really thick and rich and amazing. Gorgeous. So I'm gonna pop that on now to reduce. I'm going to reduce that by half. And half sounds like a lot, but it will concentrate the flavour magnificently, and it'll give me the base for my lobster linguine. And when we come to actually make the linguine in about half an hour's time, I'm going to saute off in some olive oil, some actual cherry tomatoes, some shallots, some more garlic, and make like a crushed sauce, and then add this into it. This is our base. So what I've made here is stock. So I am now putting in the pasta. Now this is dried pasta, but my goodness, it's amazing dried pasta. I love this brand, Iosino, and this is pasta made with durum wheat, and it's been cut by hand on bronze dies. And actually they call this linguine or spaghetti al chitarra. And what they do is they've got all these sharp little thin wires of bronze stretched over a frame, and they roll the pasta over it, and it creates it. And then the reason this pasta has got, I'll show you on one, come on you, it doesn't like to come out. You look, the pasta has got a hoop in the end, and that's where it's been hung to dry, like that. Real artisan pasta. Here's my shallots, garlic. I'm going to add some vermouth on. This is a brand called Mirepoix. And a splishy washy of that. And some of this gorgeous lemon for sharpness. Okay, a lovely big spoonful of our lobster sauce. Now here's a great little cheat. I've actually cut up some beautiful fresh monkfish, which has got a real lobster texture. I'm just going to add that, and that just adds and bulks, and it'll take on the flavour. It'll take on the flavour of the lobster beast, the lobster stock. And here is our lobster meat. I've turned the heat right down, and I'm just going to gently poach that in our sauce. Okay, a load of beautiful fresh parsley into my fish, and I'm going to be very gentle because I do not want to break it up. Lovely. Pasta. Done. Okay. Very gently now I'm going to turn it over.
That just looks amazing, and it's my favourite meal.
Now you get some of the beautiful lobster and monkfish. Okay, here we go. Wow, I love this linguine. It's so delicious. And the sauce is thick enough that it's coated it really nicely. And yet there's going to be enough sauce at the bottom that when we come to finish it with a scrap of bread.
Good?
You
say so yourself?
A little bit of lobster. It's pure decadence. I love this. I know it's a bit of work to make, but I've got plenty for the weekend. I've got it all prepped. I've got my lobster sauce stock all ready to go. I've got my picked down lobster ready to go. So when it comes to making it going forward, and you can freeze, of course, your lobster tails, put them in a bag, vacuum pack them, wrap them up, freeze them when they're cooked. Same with the sauce, and then you've got an instant lobster linguine or spaghetti whenever you want. Best to do it in quantity like this, probably 16 portions, 20 portions I've made. Dish fit for a king, and a fitting use for one of the world's great, truly wild ingredients.